Hello beautiful people, welcome to today's episode of Mental Health Mondays. I hope you guys are all doing well, feeling good and are keen for today's episode because today we're talking about motivation, which is something I'm all over. I'm so invested in and I can't wait to share it with you guys. Sorry about the background, the lighting's changed, so I just had to switch locations, but yes, hopefully this will do for today's video. I'm going to be talking to you guys about what motivation is, talk a bit about losing motivation and how to get it back when you're feeling like you're in a little bit of a rut, which I think is something that can be super helpful to people, especially during this time of the year. Like, it's a very stressful period. There's exams, whether you're at uni or you're at school, like it's just very stressful. Then there's like Christmas coming up, which I know does stress a lot of people out. And the end of the year is just always such a busy time because people are just trying to fit as much in to that year as they possibly can. So if that sounds of interest to you, then just keep on watching. So I'm going to begin by talking to you guys about what motivation really is, because I feel like it's something that is a little bit grey, if that makes sense. So motivation, a lot of people tend to think motivation is actually a trait, and you either have motivation or you don't, and there's nothing in between. And that is something that, you know, people tell me about all the time, like, oh, you're such a motivated person. And yes, that is sort of true to some degree, but it's not a trait. You're not born motivated or born not motivated. Like, it's not that type of thing. Motivation is actually a fluctuating state. So everybody has motivation, it's just everyone's levels of motivation are varied. From day to day it will be different. Some days you'll have a lot of motivation and your motivation levels will be super high, but then you'll have other days where your motivation is at a bit of a low, and that's totally fine. That is normal. I think people tend to get a bit caught up on the fact that, you know, oh, I'm not a motivated person, so I can't be motivated, whereas we all have it within us. It's just whether you use it or not, or whether you tap into it as well as other people do. So for me, yesterday I had a pretty unmotivated day. I was very overwhelmed. I was very stressed. I'm trying to finish like this semester of the dual degree. I've got 3 big exams to be studying for. I'm still finishing the ebook. There's lots of things to organize, lots of things going on in life, and it is overwhelming at times. But yesterday was one of those days where motivation was just at part of the low. Whereas when I woke up this morning, it has come up a little bit. I am not necessarily incredibly motivated, but I am definitely a lot better than I was yesterday. So I think it's important not to freak out if you wake up one day and, you know, you're not so motivated, because that's life and we're all human. We can't be, you know, going 110%, 100 miles an hour all the time, because our bodies just aren't designed to do that. So if you've woken up today or whenever you're watching this and you're not feeling so motivated, just know that it's okay and don't stress about it, but do put in measures to help you get your motivation levels back up. And that sort of varies from person to person, but I'm just going to be talking to you guys about myself today. How conceited of me, but that's sort of all the experience I have to share with you guys, because I'm not a registered psychologist yet. I don't actually know what it's like for other people, but I can definitely tell you about myself. I'm very in touch with my motivation levels and that side of things, how motivated I'm feeling. But I did do something the other day, and I'm gonna put a picture on the screen for you guys when I start talking about it so you can see what I mean. But this honestly works a treat for me, particularly in regards to study. I love learning, but I don't like studying. I don't want to be sitting at my desk all day while the sun is shining and all my friends are doing fun things, but I'm sitting inside at my desk studying because I've got 360% exams. I just make myself a little bit stressed. Let's not talk about it. But what gets me going and what sort of makes me work as hard as I do is thinking about the end goal. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing what you're doing? And you can apply this to whatever aspect of life you're lacking a bit of motivation in. It might be gym, it might be with eating, it might be with social things, whatever it is. Ask yourself why you're doing it. What's the end goal? What's the point of going through all of these struggles and all of this stress? Is it worth it? And if it's something that is worth it, like for example studying a dual degree, getting your qualification, you need to visualize the end goal. And I'm a very visual person, so I like to see what my life is going to look like after going through all of this stress. So basically what I did was I created a motivation board for myself, and I created it on Photoshop, and I like added all these photos, made it look all pretty and stuff, as you guys will see on the screen. I'll move to the side. Here it is. But yeah, I made this motivation board so that whenever I was struggling to do the work or like find the motivation to do the work, I would look at this motivation board and realize, hey, that is why I'm doing what I'm doing. You'll see on there, there's like my degree, there's my dog that I want, there's, you know, the type of house that I want to move out into. Then there's like my own psychology clinic, which is what I'm planning on opening, my dream car. All of those sorts of things just help push me to actually put in the work now, because I know that I'm going to need it to get there, and I'm so incredibly motivated to get there. I know what I want and I'm ready to go for it, but sometimes you just lose sight of it and sort of lose sight of what you're doing the work for. So this sort of just helps me understand why the heck I'm doing all this work and, you know, toughing it out, I guess. So if you guys are struggling with motivation, would 100% recommend a motivation board, because it has helped me so much. But also self-care does come into it quite a bit as well. If you lose time like for self-care and self-love, I think that's often when motivation levels can decrease quite dramatically. For me anyway, I was not the greatest with my self-care the past like week and a bit, just because I have been quite stressed. But once I practiced a whole lot of self-care yesterday, because I knew that my body needed it, I felt so much better. And just taking a little bit of time out, whether you've got an hour to spare or you've got a whole day to spare, whatever you want to do, I think that it does have such a huge impact on how you feel the next day. Don't just like, you know, do nothing about it. You need to acknowledge it, acknowledge that, you know, today you're just not as motivated as you have been, and put in measures to make yourself feel good again and get yourself ready to keep on going, because life doesn't stop, unfortunately. So you sort of just have to pick up and yeah, carry on from where you left off. But yeah, I just thought today I would talk to you about motivation, because it's something that I've really been struggling with the past week, and I thought there is bound to be someone else out there who is struggling a little bit as well. I hope you guys did enjoy this Mental Health Monday, and I will see you guys all in my next video or next week for Mental Health Mondays. Bye!